Hey there, Virgo Sun, Virgo Moon, Virgo Rising. Welcome to the September reading. Happy birthday to you if your birthday is in the month of September, and if I missed you back in August, still happy birthday. So here we go. We're going to take a look at the month of September, and we're going to use a version of the Celtic Cross, and we're going to take a look at that full moon that just happened, about almost exactly 12 hours ago. Okay, so as I'm recording this. Wow, I love this. You have the star card. Here is the energy you find yourself in. That's hope, that's healing. Here is the energy of the subconscious mind. That's a healing energy also on your mind. The energy that you're coming out of. So great idea that you've birthed for yourself. We're moving toward that new moon in your sign. Okay, so interesting. Your challenge is balance, and your subconscious is working to balance you. Your opportunity is to master something. Oh my God, I love that. Let's see. The superpower to lean into is research. No kidding. Oh wow, look at this. King of Pentacles, bossing up, and overall energy is the Seven of Pentacles. You actually have, how about we get the rest of the cards? Let's look at the week of the 1st through the 9th, which is a little more than a week, but there we go. And the second week, the 10th through the 16th. Okay, you guys have of course you have a lot going on, but it's amazing, actually. I'm a little concerned about what's going on in your head. Okay, so let's just take a moment and think about the fact that Mercury is retrograde in your sign, and so that is going to make what's going on in your head feel like it's out of sync, right? It's discombobulated. There's a lot of thoughts, and anxieties could be on the rise. But I think that you have just got a lot going on, and you're trying to strategize in energy that is going to make it difficult for you to strategize. That being said, Mercury stations direct on the 15th. I will cover that in the second half of the month that we'll do later. And when Mercury stations direct, and by then Venus is on the 3rd of September, she is stationing direct, and so she's slowly getting up to speed. And by the time we come out of this month, they are starting you'll start to feel like, okay, I've got this together. I can kind of see what's going on. And by the time we get to that that new moon eclipse in Libra on the 14th of next month, everybody's up to speed. All the personal planets are moving forward, and but all of the outer planets, they're retrograde. And so Pluto is getting ready in the middle of next month to station direct, but still there's this chaos going on around us, and it's really hard to be the calm in the center of the storm, and yet that is what you're being encouraged to do, and you are subconsciously working on it, because here we have in the subconscious, you have the Temperance card. And so this is that creating the balance, which is so interesting, because she's sitting here at the river pouring water back and forth, which a lot of times when you see, well, not a lot of times, but in the Rider-Waite version, you will see that she is pouring water, right? And so it's kind of like like the mini star, except that it's a major arcana. But you have the star here, and this star card, she is celebrating, and she is healing, and there's gratitude, and there's a lot of connection in, right? The lotus is there. There's a lot of connection in with the divine, and really, so this is about really seeking to connecting with your higher self, and to trust in the process of things and finding the balance. You have a lot of swords in your reading, and so the swords is all that mental activity, all those thoughts and everything, and you are focusing on trying to move forward with your thoughts with this charging knight here of the Knight of Swords. That's what you're focusing on. And I'm not sure that in this particular astrological weather that is going to be as beneficial as you think, because the challenge here is to stay balanced. You have this really cute little pair on a teeter-totter. They're balancing the pentacles. And so this is balancing work and life and play. And they're on a walnut. And the thing about a walnut, so farmers back in the day, I don't know if they still do this, but you will notice all the walnut trees that line the edge, the boundaries of their fields. And they would plant walnut trees for a couple of reasons. One, the roots don't spread wide. And two, when they would retire, that was their retirement plan, because then they would harvest these tall walnut trees that had been growing for 20, 30 years, and they would sell the wood, and the wood was very highly sought after, and so it was very profitable. And in the meantime, they would have the walnuts that they could also sell and produce along the way. And so it was retirement at its best that paid out dividends along the way with the little walnut seeds. And so that these two of Pentacle kids are on a teeter-totter of a walnut tells me that it's about balancing your resources, like with an eye to the long term, and at the same time having money in hand in the moment in which to do things that are beneficial for you. Because here you came out of August with the Ace of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles kind of reminds me of that new moon in Virgo that we have coming up in your sign, right, in just 2 weeks. And so it feels like you came out with this idea. And here you've planted some sort of a seed, and the challenge is to keep it all in balance, because it seems like you really want to kind of rush forward on something. You're like, I got to do this, I got to do that, and yet the energy is saying you can't. And I think that's frustrating. I know I'm frustrated by it, right? And so what is the superpower for you to lean into at this time? It is another sword, but it's stepping back from the knight into the page. Do more research. Get more information. Look to the future, right? She's got a spyglass. She's looking, she's researching, she's getting information. And so when we're in a retrograde period, especially when the retrograde is Mercury in your sign, which is about research and it's about health, always about health in Mercury, in Virgo, but Mercury in your sign to me is about strategy. It's about organization. It's about having a plan. It's about education, higher knowledge, learning. And so when Mercury retrogrades in your sign like that, it's about doing the research, reorganizing, reevaluating, reassessing, relaxing. And so all the RE words are still in play for the next 2 weeks. And so even though I feel like you're like, but I want to get moving, because Mercury was slowing down since the beginning of August, and then station retrograde like the 21st or something like that, and 23rd. And so doesn't station direct now until the middle of the month. And then even as we go through the month, it's just not up to speed. And so take a breath. Use this time, use this energy for the way it is intended. It is your superpower of being able to really analyze something by getting more details, because the advice to you is the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles, he's focused on the money, but look, he's sitting there. I would say he's sitting there alert and aware, and he sees what's going on. He has quite a bit going on over here. And so this is knowing your value, knowing the money's there, even if you can't see it. Because this little coffer here, I can't say that it's really out of his line of sight, but he is looking over here, and it's kind of halfway, a little back behind the chair. So he knows it's there. He can't necessarily, he's not focusing on it. He's focusing on the pentacle in his hand. Which pentacle is that? This one that's in your hand here. This idea that you came up with back in August. So focusing on that, creating a balance between work and play, because here's your opportunity. It's the 8 of Pentacles. How magnificent is that? It is the mastery. It is doing the work. It is figuring it out. And so during this research, this reorganization time, this reevaluating, restructuring, reconfiguring, whatever this is that you are doing, it is about creating the mastery so that when things are moving forward, you can really use this energy. So I'm actually going to, all right, so next week I'm going to do what do you need to know reading. And then we're going to do the mid-month. In the mid-month, I'm going to leave these cards on the table and then pull more cards for it. I'm going to pull more cards right now. But in that reading, I'm going to do that to finish the month and look at your new moon and look at the full moon in Aries that's happening. But the reading after that, so 3 weeks from now, or 2 weeks from now, I'm going to look at success. And I think you really want to watch that one because we'll have all the personal planets moving forward at that time. And everything else is in retrograde. And so what can we do to contain ourselves, to master? And so I think that's a really great time to pull that information out because of what is astrologically happening. But in the meantime, while you're working toward this mastery, it's coming through the knowledge that you're gained through your research and your evaluation and studying the analytics and figuring out whatever it is that you're trying to bring forward, getting into your personal books or your business books or whatever the heck it is that you are so focused on that's going to allow you to be really successful. But approaching it as the King of Pentacles as opposed to the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords that just wants to rush in and charge in and be the knight in shining armor and get everything figured out. The King says, I know how to manage. It's 3D chess, maybe 4D. So this is that energy right here. Because this first week, it is the week of the 1st to the 9th. You've got the 7 of Swords. Now, oftentimes, I say the 7 of Swords is not about the liar, cheater, thief. That being said, because to me it's about strategy, but not in this depiction. But here's what I want to say. This is not a reading about love. So, what is stealing your resources? Is it not putting the energy in the right place? Is it having subscriptions to things that you don't use? Is it you could get a better return on your investment if you move some of your assets into a different location, right? And resources isn't just money. It's also your time and your knowledge and your wisdom. And so this reevaluation is allowing you to see where you are leaking resources. I don't believe this has to do with a love reading. I really don't. I don't see that here. There's nothing that tells me that. This feels all about the money because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pentacle cards here. It's about resources. Resources is time, it's money, it can be love, but there's nothing else here that says that this is a love reading. So it's time, it's resources, it's knowledge, it's wisdom. And so your superpower is your knowledge and your wisdom and your ability to research and figure things out. And so really leaning into that energy will benefit you in the mastery of whatever craft it is that you're working on, whatever you're trying to assess here. And so I think these first 10 days of the month, there's a lot of figuring out where you're being drained of your resources. It's kind of like the mouse card in the Lenormand deck. It's just the slow draining away. And also this card also looks like, I've got this, but I kind of want that. And so this is an opportunity for you to say, well, I have this car, but I kind of like that car. Or I have this house, but I kind of want that. Or I want this for my house. I already have something. I've had it for a long time. It's been very loyal to me, but I kind of want something else. And I think it's going through the process of deciding and discerning. Is this something that you want to invest in? Is this something that you want to take the leap toward? And so again, I don't think it's about love. So don't let that distract you here. All right. The next week after that, it is about the teacher energy. So here we have, it's a Hierophant. So it's this Taurus kind of energy. So in my opinion, and this is my opinion, I feel like the major arcanas are always about the lesson we're supposed to learn. And so here we're supposed to learn how to be balanced. Here we're supposed to learn to celebrate ourselves and to heal and to pour energy back into ourselves and to connect with our higher self. And this particular Hierophant is dressed in purple. And I feel like this is you during that month, that week leading up to and including that new moon in your sign, connecting in with your higher self. So the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th. It's always the day before, the day of, and the day after a new moon. We have really low energy on purpose. We're supposed to pull our energy in. We're supposed to reconnect. And I want to say that she is wearing purple also. She is seeking guidance and information. This is the blue of her personal truth and the purple of connecting in with her higher self. And she's sitting up on the top of a turret on a castle, so it's getting a higher vantage point. And so I think there's a lot to do here with, yes, do the work, but yes, connecting with your higher self, because the answers are within you and is in your higher self that's bringing forward these answers. And so here there is this conversation with you and your higher self. And so make some time, do the analysis the first 9 to 10 days. And then right there around that new moon that is coming in, take that time to sit quietly with yourself and listen to yourself. What is true for you? What feels right to you? That your higher self talks to you and communicates to you through your heart space. So connect in with your heart. Put your hand on your heart and really focus your energy there. Take a nice deep breath in. And when you exhale, exhale longer than you breathed in. Do that and feel into the energy. And feel what feels like excitement and what feels like joy and what feels like drudgery and, oh my God, I really don't want to do that. Because so often in life when we go, oh God, that is a sign. Don't do that. That's not the thing for you. If you feel like you're being dragged into a situation and it is uncomfortable, your whole higher self is screaming, don't go there. Oh, I knew I should have turned that way. I just knew this wasn't the way to go today when you're driving, right? And so, I mean, trust yourself. Trust that there's some kind of a decision here around resources, and it feels like a very initial stage of it because we have the ace and then we have the 2. But to view yourself as the king, right? It might be a new idea, but this is the confidence. This is the knowingness. This is, I can manifest this. This is for me. And now all I have to do is figure out the best way forward and then do the work. And the struggle here is the balancing, the not rushing in and also not being in an energy of anxiety around it, allowing things to happen in their divine timing. So connecting with your higher self. Here, these cards wanted to come, and I feel like they're the overall energy is what it, because that's what it feels like to me. So you have, what do we have? 1, 2, 8, the king. Here we have the 7 and the 9 of Pentacles. The 7 of Pentacles says it's going to take time, right? You're going to have to know when to prune something, when to nurture it, when to give it a little water, when to leave it alone. This morning I was out using a turkey baster to suck water out of a pot that had been rained on so hard that if the plant stood in that wet soil, it was going to die, but I can't tip it over because it's on my balcony and my neighbors probably wouldn't like it. So I'm out, it's like knowing when enough is enough, when to give a little more. I gave it a little coffee grounds to make it happy because it's acid loving. And then you go to the 9 of Pentacles. The ability to nurture something, to bring it along, allows you to have a very productive, it's the grapes, right? And grapes have to have the right temperature, the right condition, the right soil, the right everything. And if you do it right, you get a bountiful harvest. And that's when you get the good wine, right? And so the king knows. And on top, oh my God, on top of all of his coins, he's got a bunch of grapes sitting there. So this harvest, just got a hit from spirit on that. This harvest right here that you are trying to bring in, it is being divinely guided, but there is a need for you to really listen in and not rush in, but listen. And then at the end of the month, I'm going to guess, I'm going to leave these cards on the table and I'm going to pull more cards when I get done, but I'm going to guess that it's going to be like slowly getting up to speed on something, because here you have the Ace of Swords. This is discernment. This is discernment. This is rushing in. This is taking the time to pause. So you have 2 aces. You have 2 aces. It's something new. It's something you're initiating. It's something that's going to take time. It's going to take nurture. It's going to take care. But you are bossing up and you're going to totally be able to manage this and bring this to fruition. Ooh, fruition. What a great word when we're talking about grapes. Okay, so let's see if we can get you an animal totem. These cards, sometimes they give multiple, and I'm like, that's not what I was going for. We'll see what Spirit brings forward for you. Oh, nice. You have the polar bear. So Spirit has your back. That's always what I get with a bear. And when it's a polar bear, this is really high vibrational. There's something weird going on around it too. It's like this hand over it. So power, wisdom, and peace. So we're starting off the month with a full moon in Pisces. And it says here, the raised forearm of the bear in the painting appears to be waving goodbye. And so this is about the releasing and the letting go of something in order to make space for this to grow in, right? It's kind of like if you don't give, when you plant a seed, in order to have enough space for the roots to spread out to create the stability, you can't plant too closely together. And if you do, then you go through and you look, right? The Seven of Pentacles. You go through and you look and you're like, that one's doing well, this one's not, pull that one out, right? To create space for the one that's doing well. And so there is some of this energy, right? So this new moon, this full moon in Pisces that we just had kind of has a big influence for the next 2 weeks as we move, at least definitely in the next week and a half, that first 10 days there, of really doing the assessing of what has value and what is worth keeping and what is worth releasing. So do you keep the mistress, the thing that you're really passionate about, or do you keep the thing that's stable and has been there for you all the time and you can trust, right? Sometimes it comes down to that. So taking a look at, oh, hold on a second. Something just came in. Taking a look at your resources. Okay, so I heard something interesting this week, about containers. And this is perfect for Virgo. You will understand this maybe more than anyone else. You're very good at organizing. And if you're not really good at organizing and you're a Virgo rising and you're like, I don't feel that good at organizing, it's because it's the thing you're learning how to do. A Virgo will innately, generally speaking, just be really organized. And a Virgo rising is seeking to be organized. So here's the thing. You don't need more shelves. You don't need more containers. You don't need more closets. You have the space that you have. You have the space in your life. You have this amount of time. You have this amount of resources. You have this amount, right? But a container is there to limit how much you can put into that space. And the thing about a full moon in Pisces with Neptune, so the full moon in Pisces is actually conjunct Saturn, and Saturn says we need structure. But Neptune is also in Pisces right now, and Neptune in Pisces says, yeah, but your ideas and your dreams are limitless. And so there is this discernment process that's happening, this Ace of Swords. Your ability to focus your time and attention on something, some area of your life, that is finite. The ability for it to produce is limitless. So you have this much time, you have this much energy, the balancing, right? Work and play, work and play. That's really when we master, when we understand that we're going to do this much and then we're done for the day, right? And then we're going to go do and have fun or enjoy our family so we can have everything. Get to the Ten of Pentacles, right? And so when you decide to add something into your life, that means you have to let something go. And I think Virgo understands that. And I think this first couple of weeks here, it's about deciding what are you going to let go of to create space for something new to grow, for something that you really care about, something you're passionate about, something that really has value to you now. That was who you were then. This is who you are now. So it's like, that winter coat that you really loved back in, 1980 when you bought it. It may not need to be taking up space in your closet now because you never ever wear it and you haven't worn it in 4 decades. Is that 4 decades? Wow, it is 4 decades. So there you go. So it's that kind of energy. Like, do you really need that? Of course, if you've had it that long, then it's probably considered vintage and somebody will buy it. All right, so here we go. Eagle spirit, freedom. You're waving goodbye to some aspect, something that's taking it up, but the eagle has the higher vantage point, and you have the freedom to choose and to decide, to discern where it is that you want to go. This is not about rushing. This is about seeing the bigger picture, getting the lay of the land, and making choices for yourself. That's where freedom is. And so there is a need to let something go, to prune something out of your life in order to create space for this thing that you really want next. And living in the past is the moon in Pisces, that full moon in Pisces is about let that go. We're in new energy. We are definitely moving into new energy. And so there's some aspect of your life that has to go, you know? And if you can't figure out what I'm talking about right now, that's okay. You've got the whole month to figure it out, but I would suggest that in order to feed this energy, to start bringing it along, find a closet and look at it and go, what have I not used in years that I can donate that would be of use to somebody else? All right, you have setting up parameters. They are talking about containers. Change direction with ease and push to the surface. And I really think that that is the right order for these. Those are like action steps. You set up the parameters. You set up the container. I have this much space in my life to create this new side hustle. I have this much space in my life to volunteer with. I have this much space in my life to whatever it is that you want to do, this Ace of Pentacles idea. I have this much space in my life right now. So this is the container. I have 24 hours in my day just like everybody else does, right? I have 24 hours in my day. It's setting the parameters, and it feels like it's a time thing because of the balance of work and play and creating that sense of actual health for yourself. And so assess your relationships and determine how they are aligned with your goals. Setting boundaries requires an honest evaluation of your present relationships. So here, but it feels like if you have something you really want to do, relationships is how you interact with anything. So it could be where you're spending your time almost any way. How much time are you spending just sitting there on the couch watching TV as opposed to like a really good 3 hours with a friend having a great time? That's helpful. You gotta look at it. It says relationships. So a relationship is your interaction with something. So I think this reassessing time is about really evaluating your energy. Where are you spending it? Where are you spending your energy? And then we have change direction with ease. This is a time for change, shape-shifting, or your soul's evolution, right? We have the change of seasons coming up in the middle of the month. And so, but not only that, the whole world is shifting. We are in the fall equinox of the planet right now. Things are falling away. There is a harvesting of things, and everything that was planted was good to harvest. But there's a harvesting. There is a turning of the soil. There is a clearing out, right? At the end of the season, you clear things out to make space for it to lay fallow. And I do think there's going to be a lot of that fallow, that winter energy where things kind of stagnate once we get into the 2030s and the 40s and the 50s, because I think that the energy of the planet needs to breathe. It needs to rest. And so a lot of things are going to have to fall away for that to happen. It's going to be very tumultuous. It's going to be like all of a sudden, a big storm comes through and knocks all the leaves out of the tree. And all of a sudden there's all these leaves that have to be cleaned up and decomposed and taken care of. And that's kind of where we're at right now on the planet. And so in your life, on the microcosm, the macrocosm, right? The macrocosm as within, so without, and so while that's going on in the world at large, it's also happening within you and in your personal life. So there's things that have to shape shift, and we are in that season. So it is time to reconsider what you are wanting. and you may be in for a surprise. It might really be that thing that you've been involved with, that job, that place you've lived, that the way you dress, the friends you have, they're all up for reconsider right now. And there's a recognition that that was the old me, but now there's a new me. Or it could be that the hobby that you've had forever, oh my gosh, you have really neatly stacked, beautifully contained boxes that take up a whole room of some craft or something that you were so totally into for years. And then the last 3 years, you haven't even looked at it. I mean, my goodness, even during 2020 when the world was shut down, that wasn't where you went and spent your time. That is something that you need to say, wow, I'm just not interested in that anymore because I have this new interest, this new thing I want to do. And so again, and if it is crafting, because that's what I'm seeing right now, I'm seeing this, it's really nicely contained, but that is the kind of thing where you pack it up and you take it to the preschool or the elementary school or the adult learning center or, any of those things where they could use crafting materials as a redistribution of the wealth of the planet to where it is most needed. And then you have pushed to the surface. It's number 27. I have to tell you right now, Pluto is sitting right there at 27 degrees of Capricorn. That is in your house of creativity if you're a Virgo rising. That is in your house of fun and romance. And so at 27 degrees, 2 plus 7 is a 9. That's a completion of a cycle. That's that last push to the finish line. That's that let's get this done now energy. And so push to the surface says you may have become complacent. You may be stalling or in need of a new surge of energy. Become aware of the dynamics of your life. I think in the middle of October, I think it is Pluto stations direct. And that energy will get us all going, okay, it's time to do things. But all the personal planets will be direct before then. And so we should become in alignment with what it is that we want to do and how it is that we want to progress. Yeah, so, why did I not notice this before? Pluto stations direct at the 1010 gateway, right before that new moon eclipse in Libra. So this is a very potent time of shifting and changing. And so I invite you to come back for the mid-month. This was a really long one. That's why I split it up. I knew it would go like that. Come back for the mid-month and we'll take a look at your new moon and the moon Aries. Also, if you leave a comment, you'll be in the drawing to get the free reading that I'm going to do every month. Just randomly pick somebody to do one from the comment section. I need to be able to reply to your comment with, hey, you won. So that's why you have to comment, hit the thumbs up, please. And if you want to see the rest of the month, and if you found this helpful, please hit the notification bell when you subscribe, because that is one way to help you get notified. I find that YouTube is not really great about letting me know some of the things. This Eagle Spirit says, be daring as you go beyond predictable behavior. Fling your arms up to the heavens in joy. This card also appears when you have let life or others restrict your freedom. And so I think that there's something that you really want to break free from, job, group dynamics, something. And it is time for you to wave goodbye with this full moon in Pisces so that you can plant that seed, that important seed of what it is you really want to grow next in your life on your new moon that's coming straight at you. All right. You take great care, Virgo. I will see you back here next week, and we'll see what Spirit wants to talk about, and then the mid-month. So hit that notification bell. I'll see you then.